Hello, Fritz.
Hello, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good. You
Nice.
can just back around.
Yeah, I will.
too.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I've never met you.
I've never met you
Okay.
either. How can that be?
I don't understand that. I don't know how long you've been here. How long you been?
50 some years?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Year-rounders or?
No. I came here in college.
Yeah.
And I met my wife here, and she was a summer person. And then we got married, and we eventually bought a house here on Union Street in 1983.
I see.
And then I retired from the practice of law 4 years ago.
Okay.
And we'd always talked about living in Nantucket. So we sold a house in Providence and sold a house on Union Street and bought a little bit bigger and more comfortable house here.
This is Marty's old house. I've spent many times in that house.
Yep.
In the old days.
Yep.
Back in the 90s, I was in there.
Great house.
Beautiful.
Great taste. It's comfortable in the wintertime. It's comfortable in the summertime.
Yeah.
We've got 3 married daughters and 7 grandchildren. And
Wow, that's
3
great.
dogs here. 15 of us.
Wow.
15 of us in the summertime.
That's great. Good for
Yeah.
you. And you love it here in the summertime?
Love it here. I love it here all year
I mean,
round.
you were here when it was really nice, back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah,
Spent a
back-
lot of time then, right?
Yeah.
Do you miss those days?
Yeah. There's a post line. Yeah. Do I miss them?
Yeah, do you miss that pace?
Yes, I think I miss that pace.
I mean, there's a reason why you're running for planning board, right?
Yes.
Does it have anything to do with
Yeah, it has to do with growth and change. And,
Okay.
Change is inevitable, but
Yes.
I think what we're experiencing right now is not healthy. And so for that reason, see if I can do anything about trying to deal with, encourage what I'd call sustainable growth or not excessive growth. I mean, especially in the last few years, bigger houses, more houses, they all look the same, they all have swimming pools. I never thought I'd see the day
I know.
that,
It's unbelievable.
that
isn't it?
somebody would have to have a swimming pool.
I was going to ask you, you don't have one. You didn't put one in at your place.
We don't have one, no, and we will never have one.
You will never have one.
Never one. It's
I mean,
kind of a
with the
dividing
water
line.
temperature, the way it is here, what do you think that is? I'd love your opinion on that. What's that all about?
I really don't understand it, and perhaps that's telling me is I really don't understand some of the people who are coming here and buying houses and what's on their mind. I can only believe they really don't understand Nantucket, that they're coming on impulse or.
Now, I know a bunch of the guys that put the pools in.
Yeah.
They're working guys.
Yeah.
Basically, what I've heard is that if you put a pool in, you can make back the money on your rental the following year on that pool.
I have no doubt about that.
The price goes so high
Yeah.
from what you could rent it for.
Yeah, and I don't blame them for building swimming pools if people want swimming pools.
Well, would you want to, as a planning board person, would you try to put a stop to that?
I think I would try to. Yeah, I think. I mean, to the extent the planning board really has any way of regulating that, but yeah, I don't see the need for it. So I think it's more trying to educate people, not having. I guess I would wonder why the real estate community doesn't try to discourage it in the sense of talking to people and saying, gee, we really don't, that's not really the culture here, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyway.
They're not going to say that today.
No,
They're not. They're going to allow somebody to do whatever they want.
I think the pools are really just a manifestation of what it's all about.
I agree.
And, I came in the late 60s. I don't know what the population year-round population was then, but I guess it was probably 4,000 people, 5,000, maybe 5,000 at the most. Small fire department, I think it was volunteer back then, small police department. Well, Nantucket's changed.
Oh, yeah.
But even then, back then, you had people who would come here for the summer for generations. They mixed well with the local population. They may have had tons and tons of money, but you didn't hear about it. That wasn't what they were here about. But that's the past, and we're not going to turn back the clock.
No.
So we have to move forward and figure out what can we do, and I think growth is part of the reason that I'm running for planning board, but there are other things too.
Okay, and we'll get into those. Now, according to Linda, the planning board has nothing to do with growth. Really, I mean, it's not up to her to slow growth down. It's up to the state or the town to put through town meeting to put a. Are you in favor of a building cap?
I would be, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how she can say that. All people who are on the planning, all the members of the planning board also sit on the economic development board. The economic development board is charged with setting a lot of policy regarding what's happening. The planning board and through the Economic Development Commission are in the process of rewriting the master plan for all of Nantucket. That should be an open process, and that process, the master plan, should be what's dictating what the next 10 years of Nantucket, the direction of the next 10 years of Nantucket. And I think if they had that as an open process and really encouraged the public to talk about it, I think you'd be hearing a lot of what you and I were discussing. And I think they'd hear a lot of it. And so to say that the planning board has nothing to do with it, planning board, if nothing else, can exercise leadership and get out and be spokesmen in the communities. They're elected officials, and they're involved in the entire planning process. They're the planning board. How can you say they have nothing to do with growth? Now, exactly what are their powers? Yes, you may have limitations on what they can do about it, but I think it's a platform to talk. And I think if we're serious about growth, and I do want to get some other issues, but if we're serious about growth, then we need to be involving the zoning board, the conservation commission, the health department, and everybody needs to be involved in that process and come to some decision about what we want to do and where we want to be as a community, and then figure out among those boards what it is that it takes to get it done.
But maybe it's too late.
I don't think it's too late. No, I don't think it's too late. I mean,
what would a building cap feel like in your mind?
Let's talk about sustainable growth.
All right.
So what I call sustainable growth. Let's look at the number. Drive around Nantucket and look at the number of contractor trucks that aren't from Nantucket.
We just did that, by the way. I took her right into the parking lot.
Yeah.
I took her right into the parking lot, and I said, Linda, look at all of this.
Yeah. Look at count the number of people that get off the High Line in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, it's being driven by off-island people who are coming in to make a buck. And there are big bucks to be made. Oh. And yes, they may partner, and some of the contractors may work for them, but what I would look for, and just to say, how much building do we need to be able to sustain a reasonable on-island workforce? Because the building community is a big part of the workforce. You can't just say we're not going to build, because that's going to affect the economy. But if you said, how many fewer buildings can we build, and only eliminate all of the carpenters, the plumbers, the electricians, the painters, and everybody that are coming from off island. Because yes, what are they adding to the economy?
Well,
some labor. Some labor.
Yep.
The laborers come in during the day, and they're great supporters of Cumberland Farms, which I love. But beyond that, they're not spending a lot of money. The developers are not paying a lot of taxes here, so they're not. It's not supporting the community. I'm talking about the people from off island. Mm-hmm. So.